Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about quickly how to go ahead and model a metric part, and then how to go into a layout and how to get objects laid out. So looking at this metric part down here in the assignment, I'm going to go ahead and simply, let's see here, I'm going to minimize this screen so I can see this part, and I'm going to take my OnShape and drag this out so I can actually have two different browsers functioning at the same time. So I'll go ahead and zoom in here a little closer so I can see the dimensions a little bit better. And then I'm going to try to start drawing with OnShape, working from a metric drawing file here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just keep manipulating my folders here, my windows a little bit, just so that I can see as much as I can in the drawing space. Okay, so I already started a new file, and that's done. Of course, I'll be going from OnShape and hitting Create. So I'm going to go back to that file here, and I named it metric. So with that being set up, I need to set up the units that I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to pull down these three little lines next to the word OnShape, come down where it says workspace units, select that, and when it says default length unit, pull down, and there's my millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and select that, and it says millimeter. So with that all set up, I'm going to keep the decimals the way they're set up, as far as decimal displays and the like, so hit the green check. So now I'm ready to draw. So looking at the object, we got 114 and 57, 10 up, 36. So I'm going to go ahead and just create this front profile, then extrude this part out. So I'll go ahead and grab my sketch tool, grab my front view, and then hit the front on the cube so I can rotate that. And now I'll go ahead and grab my line tool. And just starting from that point, we'll pull out and drop a line. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit and then hit the green check. Now I'm going to go ahead and find my dimension tool, which seems to be hiding. I got to pull my window here a little bit more so I can see more of my tools here. So I'm in model space, so I got to get back into my sketch view. So now I'm in my sketch view. There's my dimension tool, and I'm going to go ahead and just dimension this line. And I'm going to go ahead and put in that 114 millimeters. And now I have a 114 millimeter line. Just keep continuing to draw here, and I'll go from this point up and drop the line in position. One of the things that I found as I keep working with this product is as I do this, I just kind of want to start sketching more and then coming back to create the dimensions and put them in position. Whereas one of the things that was a little different about Inventor was that as I was drawing, I was adding more dimensional constraints as I worked. So just a little different way to do this. So in fact, what I'm going to do here is then keep adding and come work around on this side a little bit more now too. So given 114, well, I'm looking over here at the drawing, 114, and I have 57. So 57 minus 114 is 57. So I'm going to change this dimension, and I'm going to make this 57. And then I'm going to take my new line, and I'm going to come up and then sketch over this distance at some point, and then I'll drop this in here, grab my line tool or my dimension tool, and continue just to dimension out these lines. And as I keep dimensioning, the part starts to take shape as it needs to. So then I just keep kind of sketching in the overall object shape that I need here, and adding dimensions. This is going to be 16, and they're looking pretty close actually. There you go. Okay, so with 16, I have 57 here, 57. That overall is 114. This just needs to extend to meet this line here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize my, let's see, I need to find, where is my extend tool? There's my extend tool. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to go ahead and select the line and select the point it's going to extend to. And then I don't like to have random points hanging out in my drawing, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I just keep continuing here, some dimensions. I need to do an 11 here. Drop this into place. And then it looks like last thing I need to do is make this the correct height. This is going to be 19. And now it looks like I'm ready to do my first extrusion. So I'll finish my sketch. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this view a little bit with my right mouse. And now I'm ready to use my extrude tool. So I select the extrude tool, select the profile, and my overall extrusion here is 64. So we'll go ahead and put in 64 and hit enter. There is my extrusion, so I can go ahead and finish that. Now, next thing I'm ready to do is start working out some negative extrusion. So I'll grab my sketch tool and I'll place it on this face. Go ahead and turn the view so I can see what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my line tool, and I'm going to turn this into a construction line because I want to have a center line down here. I'm going to go from midpoint to midpoint, hit escape to finish the command. Now, I want to make sure that's turned off. I'm now going to go and grab my corner rectangle, and I'm just going to sketch this rectangle in here quickly. I'm not centering this thing or anything like that yet. I'm now going to grab my dimension tool, and I'm going to go ahead and dimension the height of this, which is going to be 19. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and dimension the length, which is going to be 32. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to set this up so that the rectangle is moved over to center. I do this so that I can keep this locked onto center. So what I'm going to do is grab my line tool, again, grab a construction line, find center of the rectangle, not center of the part, but center of the rectangle, come down and draw a line across that. And then I'm going to pull down my constraints. I'm going to grab this coincident constraint. I'm going to grab the line I just drew for center, and I'm going to select the center line of the part face. Moves the whole rectangle over. Now I know this is the center of the part, and I can finish and I can go ahead and extrude my part. Alright, so now I'm going to turn this a little bit, grab my extrude tool, select the extrude in area, and instead of adding, I'm going to remove. Now, I can go 25 millimeters here, I can take this to 16. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference in either way that I do this, because it's going to remove all that material. So with that, we're good, and we have a negative extrusion. Now ready to start the holes and where they're going to end up. So to do that, I'm going to grab my sketch tool, drop it on the face, again turn and look at it from the top view, and now I'm going to set up a construction line to locate center of my part. That's going to be step one. Now I want to start positioning some holes. So I'm looking at this, these are both going to be 20 millimeters, so I'll grab my circle tool, grab my center point circle, and I just want it to be locked onto that line, and then drop these in position. Now I'll go ahead and set the size. That's going to be 20, enter, and then do the same thing here. Pull that up and then do 20 and enter. So now they're the same size. Now I just need to position them. So I'll grab my dimension tool. I'm going to go from the face to the center. Sorry. Clicking a few things too quickly. I grabbed the wrong tool. Need to grab the dimension tool. Go from the edge here to the center of the circle. Pull that up. And then type in 20. That moves the circle to position. Next one I have to do, make sure I grab the dimension tool this time. Center point to center point, come up. Do this again. Let's do center point to center point. There we go. Come up, drop that in position, and that is 41. And that moves into position. So now it looks like I'm ready to do an extrusion again. Again, rotate my part around so I can see what's happening here in 3D. Grab my extrude tool. Select both of these objects, tell it to remove by flipping them around, spin this around, make sure I'm going through the entire part both ways. Now it says here that the part, yeah, it looks like I'm going through both parts. Yep. And then go ahead and hit the green check and verify I have holes, and there's my metric part. So now I'm ready to go ahead and start laying out this metric part.